button. Good morning and good afternoon. Welcome to this week's edition of Digital Shop Talk Radio. I'm the host, Tom Dorsey. Today we've got Matt Fowler, Jamey Whitlock from the Young Guns group, right? From the gang of young guns out there innovating in the digital shop process. And joining us today also is Bill Connor from AutoVitals. One of our great trainers, actually works with both these guys. And we're going to be talking today about pickup. And, you know, we had some feedback about, you know, what kind of show should we be doing? And it's great. Matter of fact, we got that feedback from this guy over here. Which way is he? Jamey, to say that, you know, it's great listening to guys that got it down and are having success. But what about the guys that suck at it? How about getting a show in here where, you know, we hear some challenges and we follow, you know, kind of a case study over time to see, you know, how we can improve a specific touch point. And so today we've decided we're going to do pickup because both Matt and Jamey would ask for some advice and help and maybe some, you know, different way, digital shop best practice of managing pickup. So we got Bill Connor in here. We're going to find out what's working, what's not working, put together a plan right here in the show. And then over time, we'll have them back on and we'll be checking in with their metrics and the performance to see how they're improving at the pickup touch point. So enough of me talking. Let's get right into it. Tell us a little bit. Bill, why don't you start us off? What's going on from your observation and analysis of their performance metrics? What's going on and what do we need to do to improve?
Well, we definitely need to work on the exit scheduling and so on. And I've talked to Jamey a little bit about it, and I haven't talked to Matt about it yet. But what we'd like to do is kind of go ahead and find out the things they used to do in the past that work well for them. So, for instance, I talked to Jamey, and he said he used to go ahead and do customer follow-up callbacks, and he used to go ahead and have a file folder that he put them in and drag them out and have the service writers do it. So that's one part of the process. You know, the actual conversation you'd have with the customer at pickup and kind of tie this into, you know, what Jamey had actually said on an earlier episode that, hey, you know, I kind of go ahead and explain to the customer what's going to happen. I don't ask them if they want it to happen. I just say, this is what's going to happen. So I'd actually like to go ahead and get Jamey to go ahead and start giving us some feedback on, you know, things that he's done in the past, things that he's like to go ahead and convert into the digital world because they were successful in the paper world. And now let's kind of go forward from there. And I'm sure, you know, I've worked with Matt a little bit in the past also, and I think he has similar things that he'd like to do, you know, going forward.
So what's happening, Jamey? Lay it on us.
Well, you know, I think that there's a lot of ways to skin this cat. You know, Matt may do it way different than I do. And I'm sure just like the rest of us, all shop owners, we try to take a lot of consulting from different companies, ATI, Management Success, and we learn a lot of really cool tactics, and some of them work and some of them don't. Our customers are all different. You know, it just so happens in the area that I have, the customers have really taken a hold of this digital world. They really like it. So going back to what Bill said, we used to actually take the invoice, a piece of paper, and put it in a folder, you know, when we used to print invoices, and it was day by day, and we'd take them all out every 30 days, and we'd call back customers every 30 days, you know, minus state inspections and some small jobs. But, you know, if it was just a simple thank you, or if it was, hey, I'm calling to make sure everything's perfect with your car, or hey, hope everything's great. There was a few things that you needed to get done we didn't do, and we didn't want to schedule that. So 3 different types of calls, but we did it, I say quote unquote manually because we did it with paper, right? Now we've obviously got this awesome tool with AutoVitals where we can do that at checkout. So again, like the check-in procedure, you know, we want to use that same, I'm going to call it tactic, but procedure, which is you need to have some sort of idea of what you're going to say when you leave, when the customer leaves. Some guys are more informative than others. Me, I take the more candid approach of I'm just going to tell you what's going to happen. And then that way, when it happens, you know, and there's not a lot of a fight there. The customer's not going, why is they texting me? I just left there. I mean, I'm still in the parking lot and I'm getting a text saying, thank you. If you tell them they're going to get it, then then they accept that thank you with open arms rather than, gee whiz, guys, you just took all my money, my car's fixed, and you're already texting me? You want me to come back now? So, I take a more candid approach. Hey, when you leave here, you're going to get a text for a thank you for coming in. It's going to have an opportunity there for you to leave us a review. We'd appreciate one of those. If you don't leave us a review, you're going to get a reminder again. So I'm telling them they're going to get another text, because if they don't leave a review, they're going to get another text. What we don't want is for them to think they're going to get a text every 3 days until they do it. We wanted them to know they're going to get a reminder. And then if there was anything to discuss, hey, remember we didn't take care of X, Y, and Z today. There's going to be some reminders on that. Let's go ahead and set an appointment for that. So, there's some functions in there. You can either do it reminder or appointment on the checkout. We're just going to tell the customer what's going to happen. Hey, I'm going to go ahead and make an appointment for March 8th, and you're going to get a text message. It's going to tell you the appointment time and date. I'm going to set it for you right now. You're probably not going to remember, but when you get that, if that date doesn't work for you, there's a button for you to click on. We can reschedule. If not, just keep that appointment and we'll have it on our books to get you back. So coming up with a good script of all the things that you want to do. We want them to know they're going to get a text message. Thank you. We want to review. We've got other things we're going to do, or simply we just want to call you, make sure the car is great. Hey, I may give you a call in a few days. Just check on you. I want to make sure that check engine light can come back on. I want to make sure that, fuel's not leaking, whatever the problem was. But tell them what you're going to do. And then actually do it, because if you tell them you're going to do it and you don't, that's a whole other problem. We probably have to have another show about that. But that's that in a nutshell, I think is kind of lines up with my how I check them in and check them out. And that just fits my own personality. So again, like Bill would probably do it way different than I would. He's much more precise. I'm going to say that. And it's not that I'm not being precise, but I want to make sure that customer feels good when they leave the door. And sure, I'm telling them, but I'm telling them in a way that is inviting. It's something that they can accept.
Yeah, and that's what the digital marketing best practices are, right? Because funny thing has happened with the phone, right? Is now there's a lot of services that you have that, you need to do an update. You need to do this thing, go to the app store and download the app again, or show up for this appointment, or, hey, don't forget this thing is about to happen at this time. And it's almost as if we're being conditioned to just follow whatever the phone tells us to do, right?
Well, the other thing on that, just before I leave, and we get Matt's input here, is if you tell the customer what's going to happen, it doesn't seem like it's an automated function.
Right.
It seems intentional. And that is important to the customer. Like if you tell them they're going to get it and then they get it, they feel like that was something that the service writer intentionally made happen, not some automated system that could care less about them.
And you hit the nail on the head too, because in the CRM Next Visit tab at pickup, right, is you can ask them. So if I give you my input, I say, oh, I don't know if I'm available that day. Go ahead and send me a reminder. You know what I did? I asked for it. So now when it comes, I know I asked for it. I expect it. I open it up and I engage and respond to you through it, because you empowered me to give you the feedback of when I receive these things. If I ask for it, then I'm going to follow through.
Great.
So Jamey, to summarize what you're saying though, is you're not scripted and you don't ever want to be scripted. So what you need is a bullet point of things your service writer absolutely has to go ahead and get done. And you need to know how, or teach them how to go ahead and do them points. Would that be correct?
Yes. I mean, in a nutshell, yeah, because I can't get everybody to go in there and do it exactly like I do it and say the same thing that I say. I think that one of the big takeaways from this would be, if you have your own personality that works for you, and not only works for you, because as shop owners, one of the things we learn in the beginnings of any consultation is that what we think customers want, they probably don't. They want what they want, and we have to figure that out. So yes, bullet points of all the things that I want to touch, and then use your personality, and then find out what your customers like and are going to respond to in a positive way. Because if it doesn't work for them, it's not going to work.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then, and even to the detail of, click here, show them the service reminder, show them maybe what the thank you email is going to look like, walk them through how to, leave that review or book that follow-up appointment. And then just like Jamey said, is inject your personality and how you manage customer service, but just hit those best practices, hit those main bullet points, the message each and every time, and follow the best practice process of show it to them, right? If you show it to them, they know what to do when they get it, you're going to get better engagement, right? So what about you, Matt? Is that process similar to what you're doing now? Are you doing something completely different, and how's it working?
I think where we're at is like where this came from. A couple of weeks ago, we were on the show talking about the onboarding process and what we're doing and how successful it is. And then we talked about the pickup process. And that to me is, I know conceptually what I want to have happen, but I don't have it systematized yet to where I'm doing it each and every time on each and every customer. And I think I know what the owner wants to have accomplished as far as the 4 things we want to have that be as the parting of that interaction. And I know between the AutoVitals product, our website product, and then also our point of sale product, that I can do all that. And I don't want to duplicate, I don't want to saturate, but I also want to make sure I'm at least hitting the objectives, like the pre-booking of the appointment and the asking for the review. And I've got like 5 things I want to have happen, but I guess I'm kind of overwhelmed with all of the options that I just need to simplify it and know that it's getting done on everything. And that's where, again, the evolution of this show came from, is I know what I want to have done. How do I get it set up? And then more importantly, how do I see if I'm winning or losing? And that's where we can get KPIs and tracking and stuff in. So that's where I know I'm weak. We do a lot of things really well, but this is probably the biggest opportunity we have to say, okay, let's get this dialed in so that we know what to say, what they can expect, regardless of if the customer is picking it up and they're the only one picking up, or if it's what we call the 4 o'clock tornado that blows through here the last hour, where you got 5 of them stacked out and you're trying to make sure you hit those points and that stuff's not falling down. Or even the person that locks out and they pick up after hours. I want to make sure that I have all this stuff to where I'm hitting all of these touch points for every customer.
So what's the big challenge then? Is it, like you said, when the tornado comes on, it's just, man, I don't have the time to go through all 5 of those touch points, and are you looking for a way to kind of consolidate those, like what Jamey was saying, into a bullet pointed script? And then how do we put it top of mind so that, it's like the John Long hit by the bus rule, right? Is what happens if Matt's not there, and now all of a sudden there's a different customer service experience.
Yeah. So to answer your question, it's, a lot of those things are just, let's get the money in and get the next person out. And, oh, by the way, and we're very intentional about showing them the invoice so they know exactly what they paid for. But just that, by the way, we're going to send you a text. By the way, let's do that. By the way, we've pre-booked the appointment. All that stuff just falls down, and to where they're being surprised by the messages. And wait a second, I just left there. Why am I getting messaged? Kind of like Jamey was saying, is scripting it more or less, but making sure that we get it to where it's read, write, repeat, and it's all streamlined. And the systems that Bill knows how to put in place are showing me if it's working or not, or if the pre-booking is happening, all those type of things. So
the thing we really know is that every vehicle, ever since it's been born, has been dying. So we all know that it's going to have a next service. And all we really want to do is stack the deck in your favor so that you get it instead of somebody else.
Right.
So, the process is working. We just got to go ahead and, lay it out there and put it in place, and then measure it using the business control panel to make sure it works as expected. And if it doesn't, we don't stop and give up on it. We go ahead and attack it from a different angle.
So Bill, what if we were able to prepare the customer for pickup with the workflow step notification that says, hey, your vehicle's ready for pickup. And then there's a reinforcement. There's the pre, I guess, conditioning of that customer about those 5 touch points, those 5 critical points, right? Maybe we plant the seed for the review. We plant the seed for the exit schedule. We plant the seed. Maybe we even do it through a video that's in that notification. So if I'm on my phone and I don't want to have to read, I can just hit the button and then I hear, it's like virtual service writer telling me what to expect as I'm in the Uber coming down to pick up my car.
That would be possible. A lot of shops that are actually moving toward that, they've got a quality control inspection they're doing, and they could go ahead and embed something like that right into that last quality control inspection, letting the customer know, what's going to happen. And, we've already got some 7 touch point videos that are already out there that we could embed in that. So these are all things that we need to go ahead and put on the table, decide what sounds good, what doesn't sound good, and talk about some things that other people have done and kind of work through the process.
Quick question. So you're saying that the product already exists. We just need to embed it in, like what are you saying, Bill? Is there, isn't there, or is it concept?
So there is already existing, AutoVitals has 7 touch points videos, and they have one in there that's basically on, the pickup conversation. And one could go ahead and build a quality control inspection that basically says, these are the things we checked over, and have one of them actually be a condition that actually triggers that video. So again, you'd be notifying the customer that we really care about you. This is a quality control step we have. And for more information, hit this and play the video. So they exist. It's just a matter of going and using them in a different, more creative way than most people have discovered. And actually just recently, we actually built a check-in inspection the same way for people that want to have it. And it's in a library. It's a check-in AutoVitals inspection that actually has a video or a topic on it that when tapped by a service writer or a technician actually takes the customer to the 7 touch point experience. So they know just exactly, what a digital shop means to them.
Yeah, I think that's pretty brilliant, right? Hey, here's your inspection. Here's your worksheet with the repairs done. Here's the QA, the quality control check we did. Send that out. Here's the next steps when you get into the shop. Make sure we cover these things. And now they expect the request for a review. And even if you didn't cover it, it's still been touched. And then, set up your exit scheduling and all the rest of that right there through that interaction. Test it. Everybody's different. Your market's different. Is it too much? I don't know. But while it's during service and you got their car hostage, right? Because they got to pay attention to what you're saying, as long as you still got the keys, take advantage of it. And I think that more quality information is always going to be a benefit and not a negative.
If you think about, the experience when you leave a doctor's office, for example, they write a prescription for future things and they lay it out to you, and this is what you have, this is the expected results, and so on. If we want to get up to where we're respected like doctors and paid like doctors, then these are the processes we want to put in place.
So what do you guys think? Jamey, what do you think? Would that be something that you could see yourself being able to manage on your busiest day and on your slowest day?
Managing
that extra touch of sending out that quality control inspection.
That's just one more click. That's easy. We're pushing a digital product. Why wouldn't we want it to do more work for us? I think the only thing is, you said something like, is it too much? My only question would be, at what point do we detach completely the personal experience away from what makes our shop really different? Well, one, we have a digital aspect that makes the shop different, but we also can't forget about us. Matt Fowler, do people come to see Matt Fowler? Sure, they got this cool digital product, which makes Matt Fowler even better and cooler, but they still come to see him because he's a good guy. He's honest. He takes care of stuff and everything's done on schedule. They text message me. They remind me. They make an appointment for me, et cetera, et cetera. So I think it's a combination. It's a great tool. I'd love to see it. And I don't think that it's a bad idea. And it may work for a good percentage of the customers. And then for other people, they might not even read it. But the worst thing that happens is that 50% of those customers read it, understand what's going to happen, and are more engaged in the digital side of what we're trying to accomplish. And I think that would be a big plus.
And the plus is you're going to know when you're doing it right, because if you forget to do it, the customer will damn sure remind you.
Well, that's true. And I was going to say something earlier, like, when we go back to making these bullet points and we're talking about how to make this thing successful and And Matt, Matt and I are on the same page here, by the way. This is probably my weakest part of what I do. And that's why we're doing this. We're trying to make this a strong point, right? And so when you make your bullet points, or you figure out what your script is going to be and how you're going to attack this thing, one thing that I learned in competitive sports was, practice doesn't make perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect. So if you're doing it wrong and it's not successful, don't continue to do it. Change it, make it work, find what actually is going to work, and then repeat that, right?
Jamey's got a secret weapon because his background in sports gives him the leg up when it comes to coaching his employees too.
No, well, I mean, I'm not. Let's not get too far ahead of ourselves.
No, I'm managing my expectations of you.
Oh, great! That's awesome. Thank you.
So what's the plan, Bill? What are we going to do? So obviously we're going to put together a bullet point pickup script. Are we going to look at incorporating a workflow notification or a QA inspection as the final touch point before customers in for pickup? And then how do we track that? What are we going to be doing in the BCP to follow these guys over a period of time to see if we're moving the needle?
Well, number one way we're going to track in the BCP if they're going down the path that we need them to be is the number of vehicles that are actually, or customers that are actually exit scheduled. So we want to actually make a repair appointment, not a reminder. And when we go and do that, we've got a great way to measure how many of them actually take place versus the number of vehicles that have actually visited the shop. We have the ability to go ahead and set up the 3-day follow-up calls automated. So we do that. So there's a list of things. And what I really want to do is go ahead and get Matt, Jeremy, and the other gentleman, schedule a call with them and go ahead and make a list of things we want to do and then break it down into chunks where we can actually identify exactly what we want to do, exactly how we're going to measure it. Then when we come back, we can actually go ahead and, have some measurements to go ahead and work with.
Okay. Yeah. And speaking of that, the other gentleman, Doug Brackett, he was going to be on the show today. He got an injury in the shop, cut some fingers off. But he's, once they get him sewn back on, he's going to come back in and he'll be participating in the exit scheduling, case study that we run. So we'll catch him on next time. But yeah, thanks, Bill, for reminding me there. And so what's the deliverables, buddy? What do you, we're working on a pickup script and we're going to put that stuff into plan. I guess what we'll do is book the event on the BCP and then go from there. We're going to be doing regular check-ins with Matt and Jamey and Doug when he gets back in the saddle. And are we going to be giving some maybe weekly updates or let it marinate for a month or so and then start giving some updates?
What we're going to do on the first call we have is identify how we're going to go and accomplish it and whatever training that we have to do to make it happen and how we're going to measure it. And then what we're going to do is watch the business control panel to see if it's moving forward for all 3 of their shops. If it's not, then what we're going to do is go ahead and set another call, find out what the roadblock is, either dig a hole underneath it, blow it up, or build a bridge underneath it, over the top of it, and move on. So there's not going to be, failure is not an option in this case. And,
Awesome.
We're just pretty much treated like that. And I know
Awesome.
Matt and Jamey have both worked with me and they know that's kind of how I approach things. So Doug is going to be a new person for me, but like I said, he sounds like he's energized and engaged. So this will be great.
Yeah. Just don't give him a saw. So I'm sorry, Doug. Couldn't resist it, buddy. And so shoot, what was I gonna say? I was gonna say some words.
Yes.
And
Yes.
they were gonna be impressive words.
Man.
When did you ever run out of words? This is new concept here.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Dustin, would you like to step in and see if there's any
Yes,
questions coming in?
See if you can save me there.
We got crickets on the Facebook Live feed here, guys. Sorry.
No, perfect. We want to get that stuff out so that we're going to be able, because we want to do some regular updates. So when are we going to be back on with some results, some initial results from this? Oh, that's
actually one thing I'd like to go ahead and gather up from them if we can is what objections do you think your service writers are going to throw at you so that way we know how to go ahead and handle them? So they're all going to say, I don't see the need to do this. Why am I doing this? What kind of roadblocks you think you can get thrown up? So that's another thing we want to make sure is that we understand how they're going to feel about it, because they can come up with a million excuses why they don't do it, why they don't have time, and so on. So we want to make sure that we get that under control also. So what do you think they're going to throw you is why, and obviously, they stopped doing the paper system. So, what made them do that? They're improvising with your money, so to say.
And anybody in the audience too, if you want to throw in your, your objections that you might experience, we can address those on the air as well.
I think for me, the objections are just going to be the amount of, well, I'm already doing 1, 2, 3, and now you want me to do 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Just the amount of things that are happening. I have a very limited amount of time sometimes with the customers. Did you see the other 8 people out the door? This fell down, this fell down. And so that's where, for me, the task is to streamline and to automate a lot of it, which already is the shop that we have built from the the steps and the digital process and all of that. And so that's where, again, I want to go in, put all of the different trains on their tracks, and all they have to do is just kind of continue to flow with it. So the time part of it doesn't deplete them to where it's like, oh, I'm already doing 8 things and I just want to go home. I want to go home too. These people want to go home, and not letting those things fall down. I know that's been my objection to it, because our owner has said, I want 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 done. Well, I'm already doing 6, 7, 8. So how do I going to get a hold of 1 through 5 when I'm already doing? So I think that's, for me, the biggest objection that I give. And that's where I'm like, okay, let's get it systematized. Let's get it dialed in. So then all you got to do is simplified version, and then I'll do the legwork to make sure it's working. And if it's not, then I'll do the tweaking and make sure that you're just sticking to the handful of things that you need to just get done while it's meeting all my objectives.
So part of the QC process then we might need to go and talk about doing is using the CRM next to go ahead and have the QC part also prepare for the next visit.
Yes, acronym, exactly.
Does that sound like a plan, Jamey?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Matt. I mean, time is always the biggest objection that we have when we add new tasks or responsibilities. My thought is, just like doing digital vehicle inspection, go back to the whole roadblocks that we got just trying to get our techs to do digital vehicle inspections. Look how much more time this takes me and how much longer it takes me. And I finally got to the point where I said, yeah, it's not faster and it's not easier. It's just better. So you're going to have to get over it. And if it's more successful because we're able to push information that is purposeful to the customer, then it's better. And we didn't put it in here to make it easier and faster, but let's be realistic. Time is always of the essence. And when we're at checkout, we want to condense that time. We want to make sure that we're getting across what we need to get. And we don't want to, perpetuate that whole experience so that it takes too long. So I like what Matt said. Let's try and get that thing dialed in to where it's super automated. Obviously, we're going to have some growing pains, but I think that's why we're doing this. Let's get those growing pains out of the way so that we can make it successful.
Yeah, I agree.
So when you talk about automation, in the past, you did things manually and it produced good results. Just think about the time that it took to manage that whole process.
No.
And then you stopped doing it because of time, or they just decided to improvise, whatever it was. But if you took that same amount of time and you do it in the digital world, it takes almost nothing to do. It's just a matter of going ahead and developing the best practice, putting it in place, and then being able to measure afterwards that it just stays that way.
Well, that's the big key is, 1, this is better. And 2, it's actually measurable.
Yeah.
In an easy form and in the business control panel. Like, we can look at KPIs and go, that worked. Let's do that. Let's do more of that. That didn't work. Let's never do that again. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, and I agree, with what Jamey said, is because we have to automate it, but then at the same time is give the service writer the ability to, instead of doing busy work, to communicate and build relationship and make that human connection on top of it, right? And then bring it full circle. Because we're going to have to set some baselines, right? We're going to have to put that out. I mean, I guess, make sure we test everything, kind of the automations that, if it's going to be the QA inspection or a workflow notification, and then kick that thing off. So I guess give us an update, go onto the Facebook forum, I guess maybe, and post that thing up. And, here's the kickoff for this implementation. And then I'd really like to see if you're out there and you got questions, you want to be involved, and you want to even implement at the same time. Just because you ain't on the show doesn't mean you can't be involved and get implementation into your shop for these best practices and follow along. Maybe we have you into the show, or we brag about your results as well. So just get engaged in that Facebook forum, and let's really chop it up and make it best. I mean, that's the whole point of it. What we're doing here is we want shop owners helping shop owners be better shop owners. And, it's hard to go wrong when you got that kind of support back behind you. And one other thing I wanted to just point out, Bill had mentioned the exit scheduling rate. So that's a KPI that's in there in your business control panel. A lot of times you probably don't even look at it, don't even know what it is. That's exactly what it is. You want to see that number go up, more exit schedules, because that's going to tell you how many actual appointments that you're
appointment reminders, appointments that were done within 2 weeks of when the message was sent. There's a lot of KPIs in there we can use to measure, but the first way we're going to have to measure is it actually an appointment actually set? That's going to be number one, because the reminders and stuff are going to be coming months down the road.
Yeah, we got to get some data in there. So that's fantastic. Anything else that we need to discuss or plan before we wrap?
I'd like to plan to see
November
everybody
20th.
at the Digital Shop Conference.
Well, knock yourself out, buddy.
That's great. That's great, Bill. No, that's a really great point, because we're going to do another Digital Shop Talk Radio episode about this, sure thing, right? November 20th. But really, the big unveiling here is going to be at Digital Shop Conference. We're going to get these guys up on stage. We're going to put all the numbers up on a screen. These guys have agreed to show everybody, hey, this is what I'm doing. This is what's working. This kind of isn't. So, these guys are going to show us all on stage at Digital Shop Conference. So let's do it big for that.
No pressure. No, that's fantastic. Yeah, so we'll get some updates over the next couple of months, but then like Dustin said, we're gonna have them up on stage. We're gonna be doing the big unveil, so better be some big numbers on there, boys.
No pressure.
Yeah, no pressure. And if you don't have your tickets, you can go to what is it, autovitals.com/events. Oh no, it's
/conference
2020 and or /conference, autovitals.com/conference. And
that's
then you
it.
can register.
That's it. Yep.
And then you can register. We're going to be out there January 9th to Marina Del Rey. Beautiful place right by the ocean. So we look forward to seeing you there. And, the most important thing is it's going to be folks just like Jamey and Matt and Doug and Neil and Russ. They're all coming out, and Fred, and I could keep on going. And they're going to be doing our breakouts. So you're going to be able to get out there and interact with these guys. You've been hearing them on the show, and you've been talking with them on Facebook, but they're going to be giving breakouts and teaching some classes, and just a great way to come out and collaborate with other successful shop owners in the digital shop and, make it happen. So get in there and get registered early. It's selling out fast. I think, Dustin, you got some special running, right?
Yeah. If you sign up before November 1st, you get $100 off each ticket, right? So that can add up pretty quick.
Yeah, it could add up to at least $100.
100, 200, 300. Bring the whole shop, right? You're going to save a lot of money. So.
All right, man. Now, I really appreciate you guys coming on. I really appreciate you guys, being willing to, put it out there and step up and take on this challenge and show others how to get it done. And I'm really looking forward to seeing the results, man. And talking to you guys over this case study time and seeing what happens when we get out to the conference. Tune in next week, next Wednesday, same time, same place. What are we talking about next Wednesday, Dustin?
We got Kathleen Jarozic back on, and she's going to talk about coaching. She's going to talk about how important it is to grow her business and how she's kind of transitioning now into a role where she wants to become a coach and kind of impart her knowledge onto the industry and young minds that are eager to learn. So
graduate
great episode.
Graduate.
What about us old minds that still got plenty to learn?
Hey, tune in. You never know what you're going to pick up, Bill.
I always watch.
So fantastic. That'll be 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern time next Wednesday. You know where to find us. Until then, get it up on Facebook and start chopping it up. It's going to be it's going to be really interesting how I almost feel like we're starting to develop a product out of this case study, but we'll see. I'm sure Uva's going to have some input on that as well. So looking forward to it. Thanks again, guys. Until we see you again, get out there and make some money.